This is Michael Kowalski, writer and performer of Mothman, True Story, and you are listening to the Unbelievers Podcast. I know you wouldn't like it.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 degrees. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's
and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby. We covered right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
Space, the final frontier, and also home to a myriad of alien species and even scarier secret space programs. A year ago, the Unbelievers Podcast brought to you the story of David Wilcock and his many secret space program claims. And now, it's his buddy's turn. Tonight, we will focus on the real star of the SSP movement, the friend of the Blue Avians and spear beings from beyond our galaxy, Corey Goode. So join us now as we go beyond the secret space programs and talk secret space drama. Right here on the Not So Secret program, we continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm your host, Rus Ryan, and joining me tonight is my co-host in California, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Oh, hi.
And in North Carolina, my co-host, Jude Prestia.
Hello.
And in New York City, our soundboard engineer and producer, Rob Okey. Hello, Rob.
Okay, Diane, that's fine. We're coming over.
What's up?
Hello. Hi, Diane.
How you doing?
I'm doing
Good.
great.
We're coming over.
Happy to have you back again, Jude. And we are, this is something I can't wait to do. We talk about people wanting more conspiracies. We talked about we only did secret space program, and now we get to do it again.
Just double down.
Oh, there's so much more. This is not a secret space program episode, as you're going to learn, because tonight this is a little different. Tonight we are talking about Corey Goode and the secret space drama. Secret space programs, as far as I'm concerned, a Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Good. But here we are, yes, back again to talk about the secret space programs, the SSPs. And on our previous episode on this topic was focused on the career of David Wilcock, the very vocal proponent of many secret space programs. Now this time we're going to focus on the other man at the center of the SSP debate, and that is Corey Goode, who we talked a little bit about before. But before we get into that, I got to give you a little refresher for you listeners and you guys on David Wilcock. And I'm going to start with this description from Ancient Aliens TV show Wiki. Wilcock, of course, he's made numerous appearances on Ancient Aliens TV, and their description of him is David Wilcock is a professional lecturer, filmmaker, and researcher of ancient civilizations, consciousness science, and new paradigms of energy and matter. He is rewriting entire branches of science and leading a new narrative of human history, one that includes races of highly advanced beings that we share Earth and space with. Yeah, I remember that so well. He's rewriting new branches of science, and that is we of course all remember David Wilcock. And if we're going to talk about David Wilcock, and we got to get into these secret space programs, but we got to do a little roundup. Do you guys remember all those SSPs, those secret space programs? Do you guys remember any of them? Drea, do you remember any?
Yeah, the one I think was like, I don't remember, like,
let's see how many you guys can get. Oh, who do you got?
LOL, the lots of Latinos.
No.
GG Allen. No, I'm so confused.
Okay, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. You got the GGLN, and that is the Global Galactic League of Nations, and they were developed after SSPs were discovered by different Earth nations. It was offered to keep them quiet by making them think that they were involved in the SSP. Yes, you were right. Those are those poor people nations who think they got this great tech, but they don't. You were right. LOL. Lots of Latinos. We remember those guys. I'm surprised you don't remember the big bad guy. That was, of course, the Dark Fleet, and that is the alliance between the Nazis and the Reptilians. These are the baddies of the SSP Secret Space Program world. And, of course, there's the ICC. It's the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. Who else? The Military Industrial Complex. That's explanatory. And then the Earth Alliance, which is like a breakaway faction from everyone else. I think they're good guys, too. And the big guys, our favorite of all. I can't believe you guys didn't remember Solar Warden.
Oh, Solar Warden. I didn't think they counted.
Yeah, the metal band. I remember them.
No, yes.
So
the guys
good.
with the sick album covers, but they are the space cops, and they're the air traffic control of space. And they are important because, remember, there's a vortex or a wormhole in our arm of the galaxy, and people just trade stuff through there, and these guys pull them over. They're like customs agents.
And then they steal all the cocaine for themselves. I remember them.
Space cocaine. Yeah.
I think that catches up, and it's exhausting, right? Just to even try to keep it in our mind this long. It's too many of them, but that was kind of a recap of last time. But now for the man of the hour, our main topic for tonight's discussion. That is the man, the myth, Corey Goode. And oh boy, here's a little backstory on Corey Goode. Now, he is identified as an intuitive empath who was recruited through one of the MyLab programs at a young age of 6. Oh yeah, you guys remember MyLabs?
Whoa, yeah.
MyLabs?
The lab. Yes, of course.
Yeah, we're just going through every half-ass joke we made in that old episode, but I promise I'm just getting caught up.
Down memory lane.
I really don't remember that at all.
This was a year ago, and yeah, there's about 50 episodes between these, so it was hard. But my lab, that was the term coined. That's the military abduction of a person that indoctrinates and trains them for any number of military black op programs, and Goode trained and served in the MyLab program from 1976 to 1986. And towards the end of his time at MyLab, he was assigned to fill an IE support role for a rotating Earth delegate seat shared by secret Earth government groups in a human-type ET Super Federation Council. This guy's got a great story. So just to catch up, so he's brought up, he's a military abductee who, I don't know, he's training with his ET Super Federation. And Goode's abilities played an important role in communicating with and interfacing with non-terrestrial beings as part of one of the secret space programs. During his 20-year service, he had a variety of experiences and assignments, including the Intruder Intercept Interrogation Program, assigned to the ASSR, Auxiliary Specialized Space Research. Oh, there's so much. This is like such science. I don't know. It's not fiction. Of course, this is all fact. It's too much. But then
you need to take notes. So you really do need to take notes for this.
Oh, man.
Like we're going to be checking everybody's notes at the end of the podcast. So be sure to take your notes.
Right? Like when I would be taking notes in class, like if I was just hearing a lecture, it's a lot harder for me to like retain the information. But if I see the acronyms in front of me and everything, then I can remember. So it really is.
You don't need them. This is just his stupid backstory. He was involved with a bunch of things with acronyms. The SRV, the ASSR. Who cares? And this all occurred. This one is a little easier to remember. And this all occurred in what is called a 20 and back agreement. Do you guys know what a 20 and back agreement is? Jude, have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, and I think I remember this from the last time, even though I wasn't on that episode. So that's where you agree to be in the service for 20 years. You age, but then at the end of it, they age regress you back
and time travel.
Being a little kid or something. Yeah.
It's a good deal. It's actually a good deal.
It's the best possible deal.
Yeah, this is all part of a Navy deal with the Nordics, where they get this deal, and the Nordics get to like come take some of us sometimes and bring them back, and it's just this 20 and back program. They're not allowed to interact with VIPs or interact with Earth after the time they were recruited. So that whole time they're gone. And at the end of 20 years, they have an option for another 20 years. And the maximum number of 20 backs people are allowed to go through is 3, because everyone experiences mental deterioration during the third one.
Man, this is like a student exchange program, but that's really not that good. You can't talk to anybody when you're out there. And then why would anybody want to do 3 in a row?
Wow.
It's like,
this
60 years?
This makes sense.
Just coming back over and over and having to, and just working.
Because you have to say goodbye to your whole family. If you're going to be doing this for 60 years, like if you do 3 of them, and then when you come back, you're like, 60 years younger, and everybody else is like, that's weird. I don't do that.
And if you don't like the idea,
do this.
If you don't like the idea of this, definitely don't try to get in trouble, because U.S. inmates are eligible to be taken on a 20 and back by the ICC Dark Fleet without their consent, doing manual labor as a slave, and people who ended up getting scars due to traumatic incidents will receive ghost scars in the same areas after being age regressed. That's really something.
What's something is that they actually regress them. If they're taking them against their will and they're prisoners, I'm surprised that they wouldn't just drop them back off 20 years later and be like, deal with it.
Right, or just keep them there to keep them there to die. What's the point? I guess they want them younger. Yeah, so they got to just go fix them. After
they would regress them just to keep them young. Oh, that's hell.
Yeah, stay out of jail. But back to Corey Goode.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst part.
This has nothing to do with this. Corey Goode is part of this thing. He went and became a 20 and back, super believable. But now Goode works in the information technology department and communications industry with 20 years experience in hardware and software of virtualization. Physical and IT security. He does counter electronic surveillance, risk assessment. Boy, this is he's just got a great resume in the tech department. Real dude.
Is that
named
just like
Ben.
a fancy way of saying he programs cell phones or something?
I think so. I don't know. And it says he was also in the Texas military forces, but that was completely unrelated to anything secret space program. And Goode now continues his work and remains in direct physical contact with the Blue Avians of the Sphere Being Alliance. Now, do you guys remember the Blue Avians? These were the new blue saviors on the scene, and Corey Goode has basically been the messenger. He's the one who brought the idea of Blue Avians to us.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I remember exactly the drawings. And I cannot erase them from my mind. I wish I could. Oh, yeah, they're beautiful.
Beautiful
but I wish
blue.
I could erase them.
Bird people, yeah,
the bluebird people. And Corey Goode, he has been chosen as their delegate to interface with all kinds of ET federations and councils. He works for the Blue Aliens, the Blue Avians, the Sphere Being Alliance. That is his claim to fame. That is his story. And that's kind of just a pretty generic overview of Corey Goode. But, let's hear now from Corey Goode himself, telling his origin story with the SSPs. Corey, would you like to share your story with the podcast?
Yeah, it's kind of a long and somewhat difficult to understand story. So, but I will start off with when I was around the age of 6, I was pulled into a secret military program that was designed to locate children that had certain abilities and enhance those abilities for use in unacknowledged programs. So apparently, one of my grandfathers had taken part in something called Operation Whitecoat in 1944, I believe, is when he took part. That program was to take various soldiers that were conscientious objectors or otherwise and expose them to different nerve agents, viruses, to help come up with a plan to inoculate the soldiers. But it turns out that they were also doing genetic manipulation before we officially really discovered genetics. And apparently this was a multi-generational program that he signed up for. So that's how I originally got into these unacknowledged type programs.
So he was grandfathered in. His grandfather got all kind of stuff tested on him. Project, what did he say? White Coat? Project White Coat?
Yeah. Wait, I think I heard something really fucked up in there. Well, at least what I thought.
Most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, just one thing in particular. But, tying it back to reality, that I thought that when you were a conscientious objector, that you still weren't like,
you go like, I don't know,
forced against your will.
Yeah, you could do something else.
Like part of the military machine.